Is this the best BMW X3 ever made? A big shout out to BMW Deutsche Motoren in Bangalore for hooking us up with the new X3. If you're interested in any of the latest and greatest BMW models, M cars included, give them a visit now. This is the G45 generation of BMW X3, and for this particular generation, BMW has shifted the focus from performance to comfort. And you can clearly see that by just looking at the car. It's bigger, wider, longer in terms of wheelbase as well, because they want to focus on comfort. This generation of X3 also marks a complete design revamp for BMW. This X3 looks completely different to the outgoing one. You have still some of the BMW design traits scattered all across the car, but this thing looks radically different, looks like a completely new model if you ask me. In terms of the front end, you get completely different headlights which look even more aggressive now, and they have these sharp looking DRLs. You have an illuminated kidney grille, which is kind of a controversial thing if you ask a lot of BMW lovers, but this thing looks aggressive and the road presence is undeniable. At the rear is where you'll see the biggest difference from the outgoing X3 with this new G45 model. This thing looks completely different. It has literally, in my opinion, no resemblance to the older X3s. It looks a little bit wider if you ask me, but I really like the looks if you look at it head on. These lights I love. I think they look super sharp, they look super futuristic. You have some diffuser kind of action going on, and the reversing light is right over here. Again, really cool little touch. Apart from that, you have a nice big BMW badge, the X3 and 20 badging. Let's talk about the boot space. Of course, it's electronically assisted, and once it's open, you get 350 liters of boot space. And open this cover, you have a space saver spare wheel. And I think the boot space could have been a little bit extra, but some of that space in the boot has been robbed because this thing has a 48 volt mild hybrid system, which honestly speaking assists you quite a bit for getting better fuel efficiency in the city. But in terms of design, this is where I have the most amount of issues with the new X3. The roofline has now been completely extended all the way to the back, and the design over here is a little bit more squared off. And off the bat, it looks like the X3 now has 3 rows because of this extended kind of design, but it doesn't. It's still a 5-seater. It only has 2 rows of seats, and because of this dramatic cutoff over here, it kind of looks like a minivan now. I think the BMW people will come and beat me up in the showroom, but that's my personal take on it. But this is something that I can definitely accept, because apart from that, I think the car looks really nice. This is one of the older generations of BMW X3, and as you can see, it's a very classic looking BMW now. You have the Angel DRLs up in front, a kidney grille, and this being the X3, a very traditional looking SUV shape. But things have changed over time, and now BMW is going for a much more radical design language, and the X3 is one of the best examples of that. You still have the classic BMW traits, double DRLs in the headlight, a massive kidney grille which is now illuminated, and it still has the rough shape of an older X3, but I think so it's a little bit more stretched with extra overhangs at the rear. If you ask me, still looks really nice, really handsome, but now I have to drive it at some point. But now I'm in the city of Bangalore, so I would rather have a chauffeur drive me around, since the X3 is made for comfort. So I popped out my phone, booked a chauffeur from DriveU, and we were on our way in no time. भैया आप यहाँ कैसे आ गए?
आप जहाँ बोलो मैं वहाँ आ जाता हूँ। X3 के बारे में बात करें तो मैंने तो पुरानी X3 भी चलाया है, और उसमें चलाने के बहुत मजा आता है, बट पीछे बैठने में उतना मजा नहीं आता है। इसमें चलाने भी बहुत मजा है और पीछे भी बहुत मजा है, और इसका साइज थोड़ा बड़ा है, बट इसका कैमरा और सेंसर्स की वजह से उसका गाड़ी चलाने में बहुत आसान पड़ जाता है। कैमरा के बारे में बात करें तो ये तो मेरा फोन का कैमरा से भी बेहतर है, और स्क्रीन तो मेरा घर का टीवी से भी बेहतर है।
The older X3 didn't have much emphasis on the backseat, whereas I think so BMW has properly focused on the backseat experience of this brand new X3, and it definitely shows, because the backseat is much more comfortable than the older car. You have a better seating position, more leg room, more knee room, more headroom as well, a massive panoramic sunroof for extra added light. But if you don't want sunlight, you can shut the panoramic sunroof, and you also have these privacy shades so that no one sees inside the car when you're in the back seat. some really nice Harman & Kardon speakers, some of the best that I've heard in a BMW. You also have an armrest with 2 cup holders, and BMW has given a ski hatch as well, so you can access the boot space as well. Overall, the new X3 I feel is just a better car for someone sitting in the back, and it really shows as to how much emphasis BMW has given over here in the back. But what if one day you want to drive the X3? Well, I have to say it's a really nice car to drive. The new X3 is bigger, wider, more spacious on the inside, and yes, it's kind of taken away some of the driving flair as well. The older X3 that was there was a little bit more dynamic in terms of its driving, but this X3 is now fully focused on comfort. The older X3 suspension used to feel a bit more stiff and a bit more set up for a little bit of a sporty drive, whereas this X3 has calmed down, the suspension has become softer, and I have to say the back seat experience was definitely much better than the front seat experience. The back seat suspension feels a little bit softer compared to the front, and I have to say the new X3 is a really nice chauffeur driven car. The reason why the suspension has become so nice is because the X3 now comes with adaptive dampers, which means depending on the mode you're in, the X3 can alter its stiffness and softness. This has made the ride much more versatile, and the M340i LCI2 we drove recently also felt like a completely different car with these new adaptive dampers. The X3's closest rival from Stuttgart doesn't offer adaptive dampers in India yet, giving it a slight edge over the competition. But up in front, you do still get the normal BMW business. You get a couple of different driving modes. Well, this is not some M Performance or M car, so you don't get any of the crazy stuff like M modes or anything of that sort, but you do get a sport mode which will give you the full 190 horsepower and 310 Newton meters of torque that this car has. This car is still a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with a mild hybrid system, so the efficiency is alright, and it's much better than the last X3 because, well, it's a mild hybrid. So driving it in the city, it's going to be a little bit more efficient, but that means it has also gotten a little heavier. But overall, I think so the X3 has gone from a sporty SUV to a bit more of a comfort-oriented SUV now. But if you still want to push it, it does feel pretty nice to drive. This car still has the X-Drive all-wheel drive, so you have grip for days. You have the slick 8-speed torque converter gearbox. We're in the congested roads of Bangalore, and the X3 is not a small car. It is pretty big. And the newer X3, like I said, has become bigger, wider, longer. So that has helped in the interior cabin space, but of course it means you have to be a little extra careful while you're driving it in these Bangalore roads. But the X3 has sensors all around. You have 360-degree cameras, and yes, it is a massive car to drive, but in terms of maneuverability, turning radius and everything, this car is totally usable. Even in these streets over here, I'm not scared that I'm gonna go into something or I can't see something. Visibility is great. The steering is super light. It weighs up once you're at higher speed, so you can get a little bit more feel at those speeds. But in the city, it is very easy to drive, even if it is a massive car. One thing that I'm really impressed with in the new X3 is the sound dampening, and the car is butter smooth. This 2-liter turbo 4 with the mild hybrid just works really well. You can't hear anything on the outside, you can't even hear the engine, and it is a very quiet and peaceful place on the inside. In terms of complaints, I only have the usual BMW complaints. I mean, the air conditioning controls are all in the infotainment system, so while driving, it can get a little bit fidgety. They also have used some touch-sensitive buttons across some of the controls, so again, that's a little bit difficult to use while driving. But apart from that, I have to say, the X3's driving experience is very nice. It's a very easy car to drive, and moreover, it's just a very, very well sorted luxury car, which is the sole purpose of this car. On the interior, this G45 X3 feels like a completely new car, just like the outside. The tech is top notch, it looks super futuristic, but according to some BMW Deutsche Motoren salespeople, A lot of customers are not liking this new fabric kind of thing that BMW has going on the dashboard and on the door card. If you ask me personally, I'm a big fan of it. I think it really elevates the look of the interior, and yeah, I don't think any other manufacturer is currently using any material like this on the inside. Apart from that, BMW has put in the jewelry box, as they like to call it, and this is just a nice little area to keep your phone. You have a couple of Type-C chargers, and you have a couple of bottle holders as well, and you have this cheeky little M logo over here in the middle, but I really like the look of it. And the other thing that I really like in this interior is this ambient lighting. What a place to be in, and it truly elevates the interior experience, especially in the front. The only complaint about the ambient lighting is that BMW have not given any sort of proper ambient lighting in the back. I think that's a big miss, especially when you're considering that this car is 95 lakh rupees. But let's talk about the ambient lighting that you get in the front. Looks absolutely amazing. I like the design that they've given it. Moreover, if you go into modes and you put the car into sport mode, the ambient lighting colors completely changed, and this jewelry box section turns into the BMW M colors. What a cool little party trick. BMW has given a couple of touch capacitive buttons and these annoying air vents, which I'm not a big fan of. A complete overall in terms of the interior design language as well, and love it or hate it, it actually is pretty nice on the inside. Overall, the new X3 is trying to attract a different type of buyer. Somebody who wants the latest and greatest tech with comfort, and thanks to the more spacious cabin and comfy suspension, the X3 has now become even better than ever. Yes, some BMW lovers would say it has become too soft, but the X3's primary function is being a luxury SUV, and it does that very well. And maybe if you want an X3 that drives more dynamically, we can start a petition for BMW to bring the new X350 to India with the Gen 3 B58. Maybe that is something us car enthusiasts would love to drive. Thank you so much for watching this video. Shout out to BMW Deutsche Motoren in Bengaluru for providing us with this new X3. Contact them for everything BMW. Let us know your thoughts on the X3, and I will catch you in the next one.